There is no force on earth more powerful than the mind focus of intention and aligned with a positive attitude. Your thoughts are seeds. They contain within the power to grow either weeds or gardens of greatness. Every result you see around you, every success and every failure, first existed in someone's mind. The greatest secret ever entrusted to man is this: you become what you think about most of the time. It sounds simple, almost too simple for the mind to take seriously. But do not mistake simplicity for weakness. This truth is the very foundation of all success and all failure, of all joy and all sorrow. Every empire, every invention, every relationship, every fortune, every tragedy began with a single thought, a whisper in the mind. Thought is not passive. Thought is creative. And more dangerously, thought is magnetic. Whatever occupies your mental space, whether born of fear or born of faith, begins to shape your reality. If a man constantly dwells on lack, he attracts more of it. If he focuses on opportunity, he begins to see doors that others miss entirely. Not because the doors weren't there, but because he trained his mind to look for them. The average person spends more time planning a vacation than shaping the quality of their thoughts. But the mind, left unguarded, becomes a playground for doubt, fear, and distraction. It takes discipline to sit with your thoughts, to examine them, and to ask, is this thought worthy of me? Does it serve my goals or sabotage them? Most do not ask. And so their lives become a mirror of unconscious worry, comparison, and regret. But the mind, like any muscle, responds to training. It is not fixed. You were not born with a positive or negative mind. You were born with potential. And it is your responsibility to shape it. Begin by understanding that your thoughts are not harmless. They are instructions. Instructions that your subconscious receives and then seeks to fulfill. This is why a person who constantly tells themselves they are unlucky, unloved, or incapable will continue to live a life that confirms that belief. Not because it's fate, but because it's been mentally rehearsed so many times that the body and the environment simply follow suit. This truth cuts both ways. The same law that makes worry destroy a man makes faith rebuild him. If you repeat thoughts of gratitude, strength, confidence, and purpose long enough, your world will slowly but surely align those expectations. And yes, it takes time. Thought is not a magic trick. It is a seed. And seeds require patience. But if you nurture the right ones long enough, they will bear fruit far greater than what the world calls luck. You see, most people react to life. The uncommon man shapes it. He understands that thought precedes action, and action precedes results. So he begins at the root. He wakes each day with a mental checklist, not just of tasks, but of truth. He sets his mind like a compass and does not allow outside circumstances to hijack it. For him, thought is not something that happens to him. It is something he commands. And when you realize that your thoughts are under your command, a new world opens. You are no longer a victim of your upbringing, your circumstances, or even your past. You are the author. Each thought is a sentence. Each day is a new page. And the story you write in your mind will become the life you live in the world. So think boldly, think deliberately, think with vision, because your life is listening, and it will become whatever your mind decides it must. Your attitude toward life is nothing less than a mirror of the attitude you hold within yourself. The world reflects back what you project into it. When you walk through life with bitterness, suspicion, or anger, you will find plenty of reasons to justify that outlook. But if you choose deliberately to carry yourself with optimism, with gratitude, with strength even when times are tough, the world begins to respond in kind. Not instantly, not magically, but inevitably. This is the law of life's echo. What you send out returns. Positive mental attitude is not about pretending everything is perfect. It is not blind cheerfulness or naive hope. It is the powerful decision to face every challenge, every setback, and every doubt with the unshakable belief that something can be done about it. It is not the denial of problems. It is the refusal to be defeated by them. A man with a positive attitude doesn't ignore the storm. He becomes the anchor in it. He trains his mind to respond with composure, with action, and with faith that a solution exists, even if it hasn't yet revealed itself. Most people think their attitude is shaped by their circumstances. That is the lie. In truth, it is the other way around. Your attitude shapes how you interpret those circumstances, and that interpretation becomes your reality. Two men can walk through the same trial. One breaks, the other builds. The difference is not the trial. It is the inner posture they brought to it. One allowed fear to be his master. The other chose to hold his ground. You must realize that every day offers you a choice. Not always in what happens, but always in how you respond. When you wake up, you are either at the mercy of the day or you are the one directing its meaning. Your mood, your effort, your response, your focus. These are not dictated by the world. They are chosen. And those choices are shaped by your mental attitude. A negative attitude narrows your vision. It clouds your thinking. It makes you reactive instead of proactive. But a positive mental attitude clears your path, strengthens your discipline. It opens you to solutions that negativity would never let you see. The man who has mastered his attitude becomes a force, not because he avoids hardship, but because hardship cannot control him. He has decided, long before adversity strikes, that he will remain grounded, he will remain forward-looking, and he will remain determined. This inner decision gives him an edge. While others waste energy complaining, doubting, or blaming, he is already searching for the next step forward. That mental edge, compounded over days, months, years, becomes unstoppable momentum. This is not a personality trait. It is a skill forged through practice. You train your mind like you train your body. You feed it with the right words, with powerful books, with uplifting voices. You eliminate mental junk the same way you eliminate physical junk. You become intentional. And when the storms come, as they always do, you don't crumble. You rise. Not because life got easier, but because your mindset got stronger. When you hold a positive mental attitude, you stop waiting for things to change before you feel strong. You begin to change yourself. And through that change, you reshape the world around you. It is slow. It is difficult. But it is the only path worth walking. Because in the end, a man's greatest weapon is not what he has. It's how he thinks. A positive mental attitude is not formed in the comfort of ease, but in the crucible of difficulty. It is in the trials of life where the mind is tested, where the heart is weighed, and where the spirit either crumbles or climbs. True strength of mind is never revealed when everything is going right. It is revealed when everything seems to go wrong, yet the individual remains unshaken, determined, and focused. The essence of building an unbreakable positive mental attitude lies in how you respond when life denies you comfort, delays your progress, or delivers hardship without warning. In these moments, you are presented with a decision, either to react emotionally and lose control, or to respond with principle, with purpose, and with resolve. The majority of people retreat. They blame circumstances. They point fingers, but they search for excuses to justify their failure. But the individual who understands the value of a positive mental attitude does the opposite. He accepts what is, then begins immediately to search for what can be done. He asks better questions. What is this trying to teach me? How can I use this? What does this adversity require from me that I haven't yet developed? Every challenge, no matter how painful, is an opportunity wrapped in disguise. And while the masses focus on what they've lost, the mentally strong focus on what they can build next. This is not a denial of reality. This is mastery over it. This is the difference between emotional chaos and inner order. A man who holds a positive mental attitude knows that he cannot always change what happens, but he can always choose how to transform it. There is something deeply powerful about a person who refuses to let circumstances shape their character. The one who shows up to each difficulty with composure, who does not panic, who does not fold, who does not fall apart, becomes a pillar that others learn to rely on. But more than that, he becomes someone who can rely on himself. This inner reliability is priceless. It gives birth to consistency, and consistency is the birthplace of greatness. The truth is, difficulty is not your enemy. It is your teacher. It reveals what is still weak, what is still fragile, what still needs growth. It shows you where your emotional discipline breaks down, where your fears still control you, and where your self-belief still wavers. Without these moments of tension, you would never know your limits. And without knowing them, you would never expand them. Every time you respond to difficulty with strength, you carve a new groove in your mind, a pattern of resilience, of clarity, of fortitude. You train your subconscious to expect solutions, not problems. You teach yourself to lead, not retreat. And over time, these responses become automatic. You no longer have to remind yourself to stay positive in crisis. It becomes who you are. Let others complain. Let them give up. Let them fold under the weight of life's pressure. That is not your path. You were not built to escape discomfort. You were built to overcome it. You were made to endure it, to grow stronger from it, and to emerge with more wisdom, more patience, and more determination than before. Remember, adversity introduces a man to himself. And when you meet yourself in the mirror of suffering, you will see whether your mindset is built on illusion or on rock. Make sure it's the latter. Make sure it's a mindset forged in truth, tested by fire, and grounded in the unshakable belief that nothing in this world can defeat you, unless you first surrender to it in your mind. To develop an unbreakable positive mental attitude, one must become a master of focus. The mind, left unchecked, is easily distracted. It wanders through regrets of the past, anxieties of the future, and the noise of daily distractions. But when the mind is trained, when focus becomes intentional and directed, it turns into a weapon of immense power. Whatever you focus on expands. Focus on what's wrong, and you will find more of it. Focus on what's possible, and doors begin to open. The individual who desires strength of mind must learn to guard attention like a gatekeeper. Because every day, there are forces fighting to claim your mental energy. Social media gossip, meaningless drama, the opinions of others. If you allow your mind to be a sponge for everything, you will never develop clarity. And without clarity, positivity becomes shallow. You may say the right things, but internally you feel scattered, unsure, and reactive. A positive mental attitude that lasts is not built on feel-good statements. It is built on disciplined focus, on choosing where your mind lives and refusing to let it dwell in negativity, fear, or confusion. The power of focus also shapes how you view yourself. If you constantly focus on your flaws, your mistakes, your setbacks, you begin to believe that these define you. But when you intentionally focus on your growth, your resilience, and your effort, you begin to see the truth that you are a work in progress, improving with every step, refining with every challenge. This internal shift in focus rewires your self-image. And once your self-image is strong, your attitude follows. You walk differently. You speak differently. You act differently. You begin to carry yourself with a quiet conviction, not because life has been easy, but because you've trained your mind to focus on what gives you strength. When you focus on solutions rather than problems, the quality of your life changes. Every difficulty you face contains within it the seed of a greater opportunity, but only if you're looking for it. And you cannot look for it while your focus is buried in self-pity or resentment. You must direct your attention like a beam of light. Problems shrink under focused energy. What feels overwhelming becomes manageable. What once triggered panic now becomes another puzzle to solve. This doesn't happen by accident. It happens by practice. The world rewards those who can focus when others are distracted. The calm mind becomes the powerful mind. While others react emotionally to the ups and downs of life, the focused individual remains steady. He knows his mission. He knows his values. And he knows that every distraction has a cost. This is not about being cold or robotic. It's about valuing your peace, your purpose, and your progress too much to give it away freely. A positive attitude does not mean you ignore problems. It means you focus on what can be done. It means you look for lessons, not just losses. It means you hold your attention on the possibility, not the pain. And this habit of focus becomes your shield. It protects your energy, your clarity, and your direction in life. There is a quiet power in someone who does not react to every distraction. Someone who can sit in the middle of chaos and keep their focus on what matters. That person is unshakable, not because the world is easy, but because their mind is trained. And that turning starts with what you choose to focus on today. To develop an unbreakable positive mental attitude, one must consistently take purposeful action. Thinking positively is not enough. Wishing, hoping, even visualizing success will only take a person so far. What cements belief, what turns attitude into armor, is action that reinforces the mindset. When you act on your goals, when you move forward despite fear or doubt, you teach your mind that you are capable, and capability feeds confidence. Each time you take a step, no matter how small, you train your subconscious to believe in progress. Even when the results are not immediate, the act of moving forward creates inner momentum. People often wait to feel motivated before they act, but motivation is fleeting. What lasts is discipline. When a person acts with discipline, they build a foundation that does not crumble in the face of setback. Action becomes the habit, drives transformation, and with each decision made in the direction of your purpose, your mental attitude becomes stronger. Purposeful action also brings clarity. Many remain stuck in fear simply because they're standing still. They wait for the perfect time, the ideal conditions, the guarantee of success. But that moment never comes. Clarity comes from movement. When you take action, you get feedback. You learn what works, what doesn't, and how to improve. That process sharpens your focus and strengthens your belief. You don't build a strong mental attitude by waiting. You build it by doing. Action also disrupts negative cycles. When your mind is clouded by doubt, fear, or insecurity, doing something productive shifts your energy. It reminds you that you are not powerless. You always have a choice. You can sit with your fears, or you can take action in spite of them. The act of doing interrupts the loop of overthinking and self-pity. It gives you back control. And that control is what strengthens your attitude from within. Moreover, when your actions align with your values, your confidence grows. There is no internal conflict. You are not just saying the right things, you are living them. When your words and your actions match, you create integrity. And integrity is the core of a strong mental attitude. You know who you are, what you stand for, and where you're going. That certainty is unshakable, not because life gets easier, but because you've proven to yourself again and again that you can rise and move forward. Even failure, when faced with purposeful action, becomes fuel. You learn to see failure not as a verdict, but as data. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every mistake becomes a stepping stone. The person who takes action learns faster, grows faster, and becomes more resilient because they understand that movement is the medicine. It's the antidote to doubt, fear, and frustration. Action transforms thought into reality. It brings ideas into the world. And that process gives you evidence that you are making progress, that you are becoming who you're meant to be. Taking action also creates influence. People respond not to what you say, but to what you do. When they see you moving with purpose, with courage, and with discipline, they feel it. Your example becomes a silent challenge. It shows others what's possible. And in doing so, your action not only changes you, it changes the atmosphere around you. So to develop a truly unbreakable, positive mental attitude, you must act, and act comfortable. Even when it's uncomfortable, even it's uncertain, especially when it's hard. Because every step you take forward is a signal to your mind, I am not a victim of circumstance. I am the creator of my life. And that truth, once backed by consistent action, becomes the very core of unshakable strength. To build an unbreakable positive mental attitude, you must surround yourself with influences that uplift, empower, and reinforce your higher vision. No matter how strong you are internally, the environment you live in can either support your growth or sabotage it silently. Just as a seed cannot grow in toxic soil, your mindset cannot thrive in negativity, drama, or doubt. Your mental attitude is deeply affected by the voices around you, the conversations you entertain, and the energy you allow into your space. This means being ruthlessly intentional about what you consume, mentally, emotionally, even socially. Every book you read, every piece of media you watch, every conversation you hold is feeding your mind something. And if that input is filled with fear, pessimism, gossip, or mediocrity, then your mental attitude will reflect those same patterns. But when your inputs are empowering, when you immerse yourself in messages of resilience, discipline, growth, and greatness, your mindset begins to shift. You begin to rise. The company you keep is one of the most powerful forces shaping your beliefs. You will rarely rise above the standard of the people you spend the most time with. If they are always complaining, making excuses, avoiding responsibility. You will start to mirror that, often without realizing. But if they are focused, driven, and committed to becoming better, you will feel challenged, inspired, and sharpened. The energy of your circle either fuels your purpose or feeds your doubt. That is why choosing your circle is not just a social decision. It's a spiritual one. Even more than words, energy is contagious. Some people drain you. Others energize you. Pay attention to how you feel after interactions. Are you more focused, more alive, more grounded? Or do you feel scattered, heavy, and uncertain? Protect your mental state like a fortress. Because when your peace is disturbed regularly, your mindset begins to erode. And once doubt creeps in, momentum dies. Guard your energy. That is not selfishness. It's survival. It is also important to cultivate solitude. Sometimes the best influence is silence, the kind that allows you to hear your own thoughts clearly without the noise of the world. In silence, you reconnect with your values, your purpose, and your deepest convictions. You remember what matters. And in that stillness, your mental attitude grows stronger because it is not being swayed by external opinion. The more time you spend grounded in your own truth, the harder it is for the world to shake you. Creating a powerful environment also means surrounding yourself with reminders of your vision, visual cues. Quotes, images, goals written on paper can anchor your mind when you begin to drift. They serve as signals to your subconscious. Stay focused, stay aligned, stay hungry. What you see daily imprints on your mind. So make sure your space speaks to your strength, not your weakness. And do not underestimate the power of mentors. Even if they are not physically present, the voices you listen to, through books, audio, or speeches, can serve as your mental guides. Learn from those who have walked the path of discipline and achievement. Let their lessons become your foundation. You are never truly alone when your mind is aligned with greatness. Ultimately, to build an unbreakable positive mental attitude, your environment must reflect the life you are trying to create, not the one you're trying to escape. You cannot expect to become extraordinary while entertaining mediocrity. You cannot train your mind for strength while surrounding it with weakness. So choose your influences carefully. Let every sound, sight, and soul in your orbit serve your elevation. Because when your environment supports your evolution, your mind becomes unstoppable. To develop an unbreakable positive mental attitude, you must take full responsibility for your thoughts and emotions. This means recognizing that your mindset is not something that happens to you. It is something you actively create and control. Many people fall into the trap of blaming external circumstances, other people, or bad luck for their negative feelings or failures. But the truth is, your mental attitude is a reflection of how you choose to respond internally, no matter what life throws at you. Taking responsibility means refusing to be a victim of your circumstances. It means understanding that while you cannot always control what happens outside, you can always control how you interpret and react to those events. This shift in mindset is powerful because it moves you from a place of helplessness to a place of empowerment. When you accept responsibility for your mental state, you no longer wait for things to get better or for others to change. Instead, you become the architect of your own reality. It also means becoming aware of your self-talk, the constant internal dialogue that either builds you up or tears you down. Many people unknowingly sabotage themselves with negative thoughts like can't, it's too hard, or I'm not good enough. When you take responsibility, you begin to catch these thoughts and challenge them. You replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones. You train your mind to focus on solutions, opportunities, and strengths rather than problems and weaknesses. Being responsible also involves discipline. It requires daily effort to maintain a positive mindset, especially when faced with adversity. It's easy to stay positive when everything is going well, but true strength is revealed when you can maintain optimism and determination in the face of failure, criticism, or setbacks. You commit to this process because you understand that your mental attitude shapes your outcomes. No matter how tough the situation, you choose to meet it with resilience. Taking responsibility means understanding the power of choice. Every moment presents a decision. How will you think? How will you feel? How will you act? When you grasp this power, you refuse to let circumstances dictate your mood or your future. You recognize that you can always choose thoughts that serve your highest good. Even when emotions like fear, anger, or doubt arise, you don't let them control you. Instead, you acknowledge them, then consciously shift back to positive, constructive thinking. This approach also means owning your mistakes and failures without blame or excuses. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong or who is at fault, you ask yourself, what can I learn? How can I improve? How can I use this experience to grow stronger? When you take full responsibility for your actions and outcomes, you gain clarity and control. You transform failures into stepping stones and setbacks into lessons. Moreover, responsibility extends to your goals and dreams. You don't wait for permission or ideal conditions to pursue what you want. You stop procrastinating and start acting. You set clear intentions and hold yourself accountable. You understand that your future depends on the choices you make today. This sense of ownership fuels motivation and persistence because you see yourself as the driver of your destiny, not a passenger. When you fully embrace responsibility for your mental attitude, you free yourself from the chains of negativity, blame, and helplessness. You gain a sense of inner freedom and strength that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. This freedom creates a powerful foundation for success, happiness, and peace of mind. In the end, developing an unbreakable positive mental attitude is about mastering yourself. It's about waking up each day and deciding to be the person who shapes their own reality with intention, courage, and unwavering commitment. It's the realization that no matter what happens, you hold the key to your mental state and ultimately your life. This is the path to true empowerment and lasting positivity. Developing an unbreakable positive mental attitude is not a matter of luck or circumstance. It is a deliberate choice and a continuous practice. It begins with taking full responsibility for your thoughts, emotions, and actions, refusing to be a victim of external events. By mastering your inner dialogue, embracing discipline, and holding yourself accountable, you create a mindset that remains strong even in the face of adversity. This mental resilience becomes the foundation upon which success, happiness, and fulfillment are built. Remember, your attitude is your most powerful tool. When nurtured and controlled with intention, it empowers you to overcome obstacles, inspire others, and live a life of purpose and greatness. The journey to an unbreakable positive mental attitude is the journey to mastering yourself and shaping your destiny.